Hello, hello. How is everybody doing out there around the world? As you can see to my left and right, we're having a fun winter day here in Ontario, Canada. I hope you guys are having a good day as well. I'm just going to check a few things. We'll get started in 25 seconds once I see if everything is working well. By the way, I'm Bob the Canadian. And you are here hopefully to learn a little bit of English. I'll do my best to teach you. I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I possibly can. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. Should we go to this view first? Should we start with this view of what it looks like outside of my house? We are having what I would call a perfectly normal February day. I almost said January day. You can see there's one of our farm cats playing outside. Don't worry, cats do well in the cold. They get extra fur and extra hair, and they do well out there. We feed them lots, by the way, lots of cat food. That helps keep them warm as well. But hey, welcome to this live lesson. I hope that you are having a good day. I hope that you're ready to ask a few questions. I want to thank Dave. Dave is back to moderate the chat a little bit for us, so that is nice. Remember, if you do have a question, there is a link in the description below, and Nightbot and Dave will also share that link every once in a while so that you can ask your question. And please use the chat to have good, fun English conversations. Some of you probably want to see outside again. This is what it looks like. It is just a very nice day. I can't wait to go outside later today just to enjoy some of the winter weather. Oh, and it's even snowing a little bit, isn't it? Yes, hopefully that keeps up. I will keep an eye out the window. There's a lot of things in my line of sight that I can show you as they happen. But the main reason we here, that was a mistake. The main reason we are here is to learn a little bit of English. So let me see if the questions have started. I should say hi to a few people. Hi to Daquan and Mode Eggs. Mode says, oh, hey, it's the first Saturday in February. Yep, I almost forgot earlier this week. I didn't realize I would be doing a live stream. Hi to Lolly and Saja and Love and Vehusavana and Banana and Devi and Maxim and Ines and Judith is here as well. Hi, Judith. Good to see you. Adrian is here. I know when I scroll back, Freddie Wolf, Lolly, I might have said hi to some of you. Yaroslav, of course, is here as well. Anyways, enough of me talking. Let me see if there is a question ready for me, and I will answer it. Let's do this. Actually, let's do this instead. I think I have this set up. Hi, Ruslan, by the way. Thanks for the question. Let's do this. Then you can watch the outdoors. If I'm boring, you can watch the outdoor scene. Ruslan says, hello, dear teacher Bob. How are you doing today? What is the most popular country to spend a vacation in for Canadians? I added the word in there. Definitely the United States. Because we are right above the United States, I would say the most popular country is the United States. And I would say this, in the winter, I live in Ontario, Canada. The most popular destination in the winter for a vacation would be Florida, the state of Florida. People also go to some of the other states that are in the south, but usually it's Florida. A lot of people go to Florida in the winter. And now, I think I mentioned this before, some people are starting to go to Portugal. So they're flying across the Atlantic Ocean for a little midwinter vacation. So 2 most popular countries, the United States for sure, and I think Portugal is probably a close second. Hello to anyone who is from Portugal who's watching this live lesson. Let's see here. Yaroslav has the next question. Morning, the wisest teacher Bob. I am running out of ideas. We're going to add ing. How to make interesting lessons for high school students. Tons of thanks in advance. I think I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to move over here when I do that. That was not a sound effect. And I am I am not sick. I just had something, a little tickle in my nose. Let me see here. How to make interesting lessons for high school students. Tons of thanks in advance. Well, I teach interesting lessons and I also teach boring lessons. There's always a mix of the two. Anytime a lesson is interesting, it's when students can get involved. This past week in my business class, we sold donuts. I bought 24 donuts and I challenged my class to sell them all to make a profit. So anytime you can have students do something where it's interactive, it is a good way to have excited learning. From Unsol, hi dear teacher Bob, what are you reading, watching, or listening to these days? And how is life going? Is everything all right? Have a great day. Love from Istanbul. What am I reading right now? Not much. I read the local paper this morning at breakfast. I usually read it on Sunday mornings, but I read it this morning. I haven't read a whole lot because I've been preparing for second semester. Our school has a semester system and we just started second semester. What am I watching? I started watching a show called The Ark, a science fiction show. I'm not sure I don't think it's very good. I shouldn't say that out loud, should I? I don't know if I'll keep watching it. And what have I been listening to? Just the radio on the way back and forth to work, whatever happens to be playing. Okay, let me see. I'll pre-read the next question here. So this next question is from Kurdish. Uncle Bob, hi. Can you make a lesson about words and phrases when you visit a dentist and a lesson about finance and marketing? I can do that. Those are very specific lessons. I'll see if I do have more time right now, so maybe I will think about doing them, but they have a very small market. I don't know if you know what I mean. There's a very small amount of people that would need those lessons. I try to make lessons that please the most people possible. So anyways, I'll see what I can do. Shuvra says, what do you like most, cats or dogs? We would probably ask the question this way. Which do you like better, cats or dogs? Or what do you like most, cats or dogs? That works. Yeah, that works as well. When I was a kid, I liked cats, but I have to say that now that I walk a lot, now that I spend a lot of time walking outside for exercise, I do really appreciate Walter and Oscar. They're fun pets to have because they will walk with you. So I would say I'm leaning towards dogs now. I think I'm leaning towards dogs. So I don't usually post things that are highly political, but I am going to post. No, I think I'm going to skip this one. So sorry about that, Volodymyr. I try to stay out of controversial topics, so I'm going to skip that one. Let's see here. Yavuz. Can you please explain the differences between will and going to? So later today, I will go get groceries. Later today, I'm going to get groceries. They are very much interchangeable in informal English speech. I have had it explained to me that going to is more informal and will is a little more formal. I use both. I'll say to Jen, like I just did it there, right? I will say to Jen, I'll say to Jen, I'll go get groceries later today, or I'm going to go get groceries later today. In class, you might say something to a student like, I need someone who will go to the office and get the papers. See, it has a slightly different meaning there, doesn't it? Sorry, I don't mean to be too confusing. Yeah. So when you're talking about a future event, like I will go to the store, I'm going to go to the store, you can use them interchangeably, but I'll need to think about this in a little more detail. Let's see here. From Dominic. Can you please explain how Canadians complain about something? For example, we're unhappy about something ordered. Are there differences between the British and Canadian ways? I don't want to make a broad statement, but I will say this. Canadians can be very direct when something goes wrong or when someone makes a mistake. I think in general, British people might be more polite. Canadians are polite as well, but we also are the country that plays hockey, an extremely rough sport. So I always tell people that Canadians are very nice until we're not nice. And then we're very direct, I would say is the word. We say exactly what's on our mind. So I would say, I don't mean to speak for all Canadians, but if you send me the wrong thing, I'm going to call and tell you about it. Or if you charge me too much money, I'm going to directly tell you. I'm not going to be polite. I'm going to say exactly what happened. So possibly British people are more polite. So from Amran, we have, how can we identify a gerund? Could you please give examples? So I'm going to look this up because when I start talking about ing stuff, I always make mistakes. So I want to get the official definition here. So here we have some examples. They had a good talk while hiking. I hope to set a new record in swimming. What do these two sentences have in common? The two words at the end are called gerunds, okay? So a gerund is a verb that ends in ing, but not always, okay? So I think what I'm going to do with this, because it's a grammar question, is I'm going to let it be. I've given a couple of examples, but it will take about 5 minutes to explain the difference between gerunds and verbs that end in ing for other reasons. So I'm going to let that one be. I hope that's okay with you. Sometimes it's better for me to not answer a question than to answer the question wrong. Let's see here. André Padron says, do you have a machine to clean the snow between the road and your home? Where are you headed? Yeah. So the first question, yes, I have a tractor with a snowblower on the back. So the snow goes into the snowblower and shoots out through kind of there's a chute on the top and the snow shoots through the chute. And I also have a tractor with a loader on the front. I can use either when I need to clean snow. And as to your second question, where are you heading? Where are you heading to? Where are you headed? Are all identical. They are all correct in informal English. I could say to my brother, where are you heading today? Where are you heading to today? Where are you headed? By the way, my brother is at a car race today. He races cars in what's called rallycross, I think. And he's the navigator. He sits in the passenger seat. Him and a friend have a little car and they go to races. So he's out racing today. Should I show you? Let me see if I can find a picture of my brother. Don't know if I can. This might take too long, but he sent me a picture this morning. Let me see if you guys, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but this is my brother. You can't see it, can you? It's kind of a funny shade. That's my brother wearing his helmet. Weird how it's purple. It's not purple for me. Wearing his helmet. He's in a car with his friend and they are at a car race. So I should have went to see, but it's minus 15 out today. I don't know if I want to stand outside and watch a car race. That's the brother that looks like me, by the way. Let's see here. Let me have a sip while you guys enjoy the view. The snow is starting to come down even harder. No sign of Oscar or Walter. They're actually inside right now. They're in the garage. Oscar's in the kitchen having a little nap, but maybe we'll see them outside later. We'll have to see. Let me see here. Oh, wait. I think I have the next question on the screen. Layla, hi Teacher Bob. It's been a long time since I followed your YouTube channel. Well, welcome back. My question is, how can I practice English since no one speaks English in my neighborhood? You basically have two choices. Oh, wait, let me read from the chat. German Vieiro says, can you tell me the name of the river by your farm? It is called the Welland River. That is the name of the river. There's two choices you have. One is find someone else who's learning English. So it sounds like that might be hard to do. The second thing is you might need to spend money to hire an English tutor that you can meet with using Skype or Zoom or FaceTime or whatever software you have. It's if you have the internet, if you're able to watch this video, this live stream, then hopefully you can do that. It will cost money. The one I recommend is Preply. There's a link in the description below to Preply. Yeah, find someone you can meet with 30 minutes a week. It's going to cost money, but hopefully it's not prohibitively expensive for you. Yuri, hi, there's a sentence. Half of the living expenses are rent. Why do we use are? Because are goes with half. Are doesn't go with expenses. Does that make sense? So half are rent. Half of the living expenses are rent. So we have to make sure that it goes together properly. I don't have the exact details, but you would never use is in that sentence because it would sound completely wrong. And for those of you that are wondering what living expenses are, those are all of the things you have to pay every day in order to live. Your rent, your electricity, your internet bill, your heat, etc., etc. John Wedge says, hey, your brother looks a lot like you, Bob. He does. He's a little taller. He's a little hairier than me, but he looks a lot like me, and he sounds a lot like me for sure. Let me see. Let me get to the next question here. So DDD, hi, Mr. Bob. I hope you can answer my questions. Is there any scholarship for a bachelor degree in agriculture business in Canada? Where can I find one? I don't know. I do know that most people who study agriculture in Canada either go to Ridgetown College in my province or the University of Guelph. Those are the two colleges, universities that have ag programs, agriculture programs. So I would search for, scholarships at the University of Guelph for agriculture or scholarships at Ridgetown College for agriculture. That might help. Just checking the audio there for a sec. Oh, sorry, I should put the river cam up when I do that. Are you tired of looking at me in the corner? I can turn that off too there. Well, that was the wrong one. This is the right one there. Now you can have a pure view. Hopefully you can still hear my voice and you don't think you're just watching a live stream of a snowstorm. Next question from Andre. Do you play video games? Yes, I tried to play Counter-Strike Global Offensive the last couple of weeks, but I'm too old and my reactions aren't fast enough. I do play a lot of Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition during the winter, so I have been playing that as well. 12. Yeah, I should spell it, shouldn't I? There, I'll put that in the chat. I just saw Brett from Speak English with This Guy say University of Guelph. That seriously sounds made up. Maybe Dave can find the link to the University of Guelph and throw that in the chat for us. Let's see here. Paolo. Hi, Teacher Bob. Have you ever been in Italy or at least in Europe? Where do you usually go for vacation? Well, I normally don't take vacations. If we do go on a vacation, it's usually a day trip or it's a multi-day trip or a long weekend. We usually stay in Ontario, Canada, and we go somewhere nice. We might go up north. We might go just away for the day to visit Jen's parents. Not really a vacation. Jen and I honestly do not go on a lot of vacations. We hope to do that more. I think the last vacation we went on was to Niagara Falls with just the two of us, but that was before COVID. So let's see here. Let me find the next question. Next question. Teacher's pet, Syria. Hello, sir. What's the difference between prediction and projection? Thanks in advance. They are similar. It's when you talk about something that's going to happen in the future. So when you say that they're projecting 10 centimeters of snow today, or they're predicting 10 centimeters of snow today, it means they think that it will snow until we have 10 centimeters of snow. So they're very similar. A prediction sometimes has less facts. A projection, maybe there are more facts that make them believe it will happen. You know, like I can make a prediction that about who's going to win the Super Bowl, but I don't know anything about it. But you could say they've statistically analyzed both teams and they're projecting Philadelphia to win. I think Philadelphia's in the Super Bowl. Maybe Brett can confirm that. Let's see. Alberto. Hi, Teacher Bob. What is the best way to understand when someone talks to you fast? So number one, I think it's okay to just ask them to slow down a bit. I think it's okay to say, hey, my English is pretty good, but I'm having trouble understanding you. Can you speak a bit slower? That would be a great way to say it. Just to say, hey, my English is pretty good, but I'm having trouble understanding you. Could you speak a bit slower? Great sentence to use, very polite. Most English speakers would respond to that nicely, I would think. So, and if it's a video, then just slow the video down. That's what I would do. Let's see here. Next question from Yuri. Hello, Mr. Bob. Please, can you say which one is correct? So I'm going to read both because I don't want to read the incorrect one out loud or read it out loud. Okay, so I'm looking for a job. That's exactly what I would say. You might do a job search online. That's how I would use the word search. But definitely, what's Joe doing today? Well, he's looking for a job, so he's going to drive around and see if he can find one. And then you make an appointment with a doctor or at the doctor's office, understanding the difference there that I switch between doctor and doctor's office. I need to make an appointment with the doctor. I need to make an appointment with a doctor. If I know the doctor, I would use the. And then I need to make an appointment at the doctor's office. So that's the difference between the two. Brent says, yes, the Philadelphia Eagles against the Kansas City Chiefs. So that is what we will be seeing at the Super Bowl. I think I'll have a Super Bowl party with just me and some pizza and the kids and Jen, of course. Let's see here. Glazer, have you ever visited Peru? No. And would you like to visit it? Yes. I think that would be lots of fun to visit different places. Someday, though, as I always say, I'm a dad with 5 kids. My main job in life is to provide for my family. I will vacation more when I'm done, when all of my kids have moved out of the house. Muse says, hi, Teacher Bob. Can you please make a lesson series, a little correction, about correct pronunciation of words in the Canadian way using the correct intonation and emphasis on syllables? I can. Now, there's a limited amount of words that Canadians say differently or sounds. So I could focus on that. I could do that where I talk about the sound we make when we say about, the sound we make. There's a few sounds that are very uniquely Canadian. They're not that different from how our American cousins speak, though. Very, very similar. Sophia says, hello, dear Teacher Bob. I found Oscar's page on Instagram. It was so nice. Yeah, Oscar had a little Instagram page for a while. But I didn't find Jen's flowers. Does she have an account with beautiful flowers? Yes, she does, but she likes to keep her followers to people who actually live close to us, because that's what she uses to market and sell her flowers. So we don't usually give it out online because having followers from other parts of the world doesn't really help her business. I know that sounds kind of exclusive, but she really likes it as a tool to let people who do buy our flowers know when she has sales and stuff like that. So let's see here. From Millie Toto, wish you peace and happiness. You too. Do you have a recommendation? I'm going to get rid of the N. A recommendation to understand and study long English words, or any suggestion will help a lot. Thank you. Have a nice time. Yeah, so sometimes long words are, oh, it looks like it's getting brighter outside, isn't it? You can see that it's getting sunny, and my camera is having trouble adjusting to how sunny it is. I wonder if it will slowly go away. Now you can see why I wear sunglasses when I make videos outside in the winter when there's snow on the ground and when the sun is out. It gets incredibly bright because the sun reflects off the snow. So you have the sun hitting your face, but you have the reflection hitting you as well. Long words, you need to use them in sentences. It's challenging because when you learn short words, you're more likely to use them because they're probably more common. When you're learning long words, generally they're less common, but they're still important. So try to use them in a written sentence and try to use them in a conversation as soon as you can after learning them or hearing them. Great question from Debbie. Hello, Sir Bob. What is the weather like there? So let's go to a full view of the outdoors. So you can see that it is very snowy. It is minus 15 degrees Celsius right now. Let me double check that because the temperature is supposed to, it's minus 12 degrees Celsius. It's 10 degrees Fahrenheit here. Chance of flurries. The temperature is actually going up all day though, and it will eventually be -2. So it's getting warmer as the day goes on. We should see warmer temperatures tomorrow as well, but that's what we're looking at right now. A nice cold, snowy day, -12, the temperature slowly going up. Harry300 in the chat says, it looks like a blizzard. If it was a blizzard, you wouldn't be able to see the barn. If it was a bad blizzard, you wouldn't be able to see my van. So this is pretty mild in terms of snowfall. Definitely. Let's see here. Brent says the U.S. set a wind chill record last night. Oh, wow. I wonder where that was. Probably somewhere up high in the western part of the U.S. Okay, next question. Hafiz, English can be confusing. For example, bow or bow can have different meanings with different pronunciations. Same goes with sow, which is a pig, or sow, which means to put seed in the ground, or sew, S-E-W, which means to use a needle and thread. Yeah, it's a weird language and it's tricky. And all I can say is you just need to expose yourself to as much listening and reading as you can to get a sense of which is which. But yes, you can bow. At the end of my video last week, I bow. You can also, last week, the week before, you can also have a bow and arrow. So, and I think I did a video on that. I should do another one like that. Those are fun to do. Let's see here. Natalia. Is there a connection between position and salary in Canada? For example, if you are a boss, do you get more money than if you are an expert who gets more than a specialist? Yes. Now, it's different for every type of job, but at my school, I'm a teacher. The principal gets paid more than me. I get paid more than a new teacher. If you are a department head at my school, so there's an English department, all of the English teachers are in a department, and one person is the department head, that person gets paid more. So yes, definitely in Canada, we are very similar to the US and Europe in that way. Depending on what role you play at the company, you will get paid a different amount of money. So if you just start, you have an entry level position, but you can work your way up to senior management and get paid more. Let's see here. Akil says, the laborers are on down tools. Can we use this idiom interchangeably with go on strike? We don't use that phrase in Canada. It's not familiar to me. We usually just say that people are on strike. If the workers stop working, and if they go outside and carry signs that say, we want more money, then we say in Canada that they are on strike. Sometimes we will say that we might call it a walkout, but that's a little more extreme. Generally, workers in Canada and in the United States go on strike. That is the most used term to refer to that. Brent says, yes, high up on Mount Washington in New Hampshire. Oh, on the East Coast. Oh, interesting. Super cold. But I guess that this cold zone or whatever cold front we're in is pretty big. I think Brent's in the same one as me right now. Let me see here. We should go to members only chat in a bit. I should have a sip of water. Let's do this. Why don't we go to the view outside? No animals yet. Sorry about that. Maybe I can text Jen and ask her to let the dogs out. Although when it's this cold, we don't like to have them outside too long. Okay, what was I doing? I was going to turn on members only chat mode. Let me do that. I'll do that right now. If you're wondering what that is, members are people who have clicked the join button and who have decided to be members. There is a button somewhere on your screen that says join. If you click it, you'll get a bit more information, and you'll know what you'll get if you become a member. If you become a member, though, you get an extra video on Wednesdays with Bob. Sometimes I do silly things. Sometimes they're boring. I have to be honest. You get your name in green during the chat, like the people you're seeing wherever the chat is on your screen. You get a little crown by your name, and you get to participate in members only chat when I do that during a live stream, which is usually for about 10 minutes in the middle. So don't leave if you're not a member. Hang around. In 10 minutes, I will get back to the questions. I have 15 left. So depending if a lot more questions come in, I might be able to get through them all. Let's see here. Mode. I'm still not sure if this is an English lesson or the weather report. How about we plug yesterday's lesson, Mr. Bob? Yesterday, I did a lesson about sound. It was a fun lesson. We talked about the difference between hear and listen, with hear being something that happens to you and listening being something you do yourself. If you're interested, the long version of this is up right now. The shorter version will be out in about 24 hours, less than 24 hours. So thanks, Mode, for that. Let's see. Pony's talking to Brent. Very cool. Stacy's talking to Adam, saying that they're from Seoul, Korea. Very cool. Lolly says, do your dogs like snow? Oh, yes. They love the snow. They like eating the snow. They like rolling in the snow. They like chasing each other. Walter and Oscar like to play fight. So it sounds like they're really fighting, but they're not. In English, we call that play fighting. So they're often definitely outside enjoying snow and play fighting and doing all kinds of stuff. Right now, Walter likes to move his stick around. Just a sec here. Let me check something. I'm texting Jen. Can you let the dogs out at some point? We'll see what Jen says. I don't want to yell right now. It's not nice to yell, so I'll just text her. Where are we here? Freddie Wolf. I learned that I will is when you make a prediction versus I am going to is when you make a decision or an action in the near future. I hope I'm right. Otherwise, I need to go back to school. Yeah, but I think how we use the two has really softened over the last 10 years. We all get to watch Oscar pee on the bush. So there you go. There's a dog in action. I flipped to the camera too soon. That was kind of funny. Yeah, how would I say? Oh, and there's Walter with his stick. You can't quite see it. And you'll see Jen heading off to the barn. She's going to bring water out for the animals, for the goats in the barn. So there you go. I think it's softened, Freddie Wolf. I think that I use them interchangeably. I'm going to go to the store. I'll go to the store this afternoon, that kind of thing. But I should research the difference. I should research the difference between the two and have a better answer available at some point. Let's see here. Modes. Can you do a short on bow, duck, bend, lean in? Yes. So I'm planning to do a lot of English in action. I have quite a few ideas. Basically, one of my most successful videos was the video where I acted things out. So I'm using that as a starting point for making a lot of shorts where I act out what I'm actually doing. So you'll see quite a few of those. Let's see here. Daquan laughs. Lolly says hi to Jen. Pony says, hi, Bob. How are you? By the way, if you're wondering what's going on, I'm answering questions from the chat right now while letting people see the great outdoors, although there's less interesting stuff to see right now. So we'll go back to this. Let's see here. Where am I? Oh, yes, ponytailer. Could you explain how to use subconscious and unconscious? Thank you. So when you don't know the answer to something and then you sleep for the night and you wake up and know the answer, sometimes we say that you solved it or you found the answer in your subconscious. So that's like the part of your brain that you don't really know about. So you subconsciously do things sometimes. So sometimes if you listen to a lot of English, you're not actively learning the words, but subconsciously you might be learning them. So without even trying. And then if you get hit on the head, you might become unconscious. That means you can't, you're like knocked out for a little while. Those are the words we would use. Mode says, don't eat yellow snow. Acted out by Oscar. Haha, exactly. There's a phrase in, when you live in a US state or in Canada where there's lots of snow, there's a phrase, don't eat yellow snow, because usually yellow snow means an animal has done something there, like what you saw Oscar do. Yaroslav says, I saw your snow angel yesterday. Did you do it when you were a child? Yes. When I was a kid, I played outside in the snow a lot. In fact, I have a lot of memories as a kid of my mom putting our snowsuits on, hats and gloves, and just putting us outside for a few hours in the afternoon. Canadian children generally play outside in the snow. Even if it's temperatures like this, they'll have recess at school. Everyone will play outside. It's quite common to see children playing outside in the snow. They go sledding. They build snowmen if the snow is right. They have snowball fights, etc. Harry 300, he did that because he knew that he was on camera. Probably. Stacy says, I have a Maltese named Sharong. She isn't interested in snow at all. I heard dogs love snow, but maybe it depends on the dogs. Yes, it definitely depends on the dogs. Like Oscar and Walter have a thick coat of winter hair. In the spring, they will shed their winter coat, but both of them are definitely well protected to be outside in the snowy weather and in the cold. John Wedge says, no question today, Bob. Just listening. Have an awesome day with hot chocolate. I will. Stacy says, Bob's live stream is very helpful to improve English listening skills. Well, thank you. I'm glad I can be helpful. Daquan says, yeah, it's very good. Let's look at some questions from the forum. If there's more questions from the members, I will look at them as well. Let's see here. Mikalo, good morning, dear Mr. Teacher Bob. Today I have any questions. Today I have no questions about English, but only one. How can you teach at school? So I'm going to flip some words around. How can you teach at school and make a bunch of videos at the same time? Thanks. So I am not full-time. When I started my YouTube channel, I was a full-time teacher. And last year was the first year where I worked a little bit less, about 10% less. Right now, I'm working about 30% less than a normal teacher. I work about 70% of full-time. What that means is I still have a job, I still have obligations, but I'm not at work for 8 or 9 hours a day. I'm only at work for about 6 or 7 hours a day. And that gives me time to respond to comments, make videos, make English lessons, etc. So that is how I manage. For the first 3 years of my channel, 4 years, I just worked overtime. I worked too much, actually. Now I have a good balance, I think. So Aaron says, hi, Bob. Does the T need to be pronounced in the word often? When I learned it, my teacher didn't pronounce the T. Could you explain it? Thanks. I don't pronounce the T when I talk quickly. You'll notice that I often don't say the T when I'm speaking very quickly. And I do that quite often. So there you heard the T a bit. If I'm emphasizing it, you're doing that too often. You'll hear the T. If my voice gets sterner, if I'm talking to a student or one of my children. But generally, if I'm speaking really quickly, I'll just say often. I often don't say the T when I'm speaking quickly. But you can say it. No one's going to be annoyed if you say often. If it's just a subtlety. If you say often, that's not right. But often, or often. Both work. Welcome, JT. Thank you for becoming a member. That's awesome. Thank you for taking the time to explore the join button. and to become a member of the channel. Nurzada, can you explain how to use idioms in speaking English? Is it necessary to use idioms? Little correction there. Thank you in advance. So here's what I always say about idioms and phrasal verbs. You don't need to be able to use them at first, but you need to know what they mean if you hear them or if you read them. So I always say, don't worry about using idioms when you speak or when you write, but make sure you understand what they say. And we do use them, okay? We do use idioms, we do use phrasal verbs. So it is important to learn them and recognize their meanings. Because if you don't, you'll hear phrases every once in a while and you won't know what they mean. If someone's trying to get your goat, or if someone says, hold your horses, or don't have a cow, or that's bull. Usually there's more to the word bull, but we do say those things, and you need to know them. So from the chat, JT, a quick question: why people would say, for example, yeah, so there has become quite widely used incorrectly. And it's usually the contraction, JT. It's usually not there is, it's usually theirs. Here's an example. I might say, there are a lot of cats in our barn. We have 7. Or I could say there's a lot of cats in my barn. Technically, if I say there's a lot of cats, it's wrong. It should be there are a lot of cats. But we have started to use theirs all the time instead of there are in spoken informal English. Wow, there's a lot of people at this store. It should be, wow, there are a lot of people, but we use theirs. We don't often say there is a lot of people. It sounds a little funny, but the contraction theirs gets used quite a bit where you should be using there are. And again, in informal everyday speech, that's actually fine. No one's going to think you sound funny. Ponytailer, I love watching you and Jen on live stream. When she has a chance, please invite her. She has promised to come on one, but it hasn't happened yet. Someday. Hey, let me go to this view and let me turn off members only chat. While I do that, I do want to thank all of you who are members. You guys are awesome. Remember yesterday I thanked my members because they let me buy things I need, like, should I show you my microphone again? In the winter, it's very, very windy. Oh, I have a bunch of stuff piled up top now. So my latest piece of equipment is this microphone. This microphone lets me make videos outside when it's really windy and you don't hear the wind sound. Unfortunately, Mode Eggs noticed that the microphone works really well because when I make a video with that microphone, you hear my voice, you don't hear the wind sound, but you actually don't hear anything else either. Like you probably wouldn't hear birds chirping because it's very, very directional. But anyways, thank you for being members. Thank you for clicking the join button. I hope what you get in exchange for what you give me is valuable to you. So Mode, let me go back here, has researched will and going to a lot. And what I found out is that grammarians insist on them being different, but like you said, some of that distinction fades in informal English. Yes. And I would add to that, Mode, that I primarily teach what I would say is informal English on my channel. But English, even though there's formal and informal English, informal English is probably the most common, even in places where you think people would only speak formally. Like, I'm a professional, I work at a school, I'm a teacher, and my boss and I use very informal English when we talk to each other, and that's quite common in North America. I think informal English is the more common way to speak. Brent and I chatted a couple weeks ago. We did a little live stream on Facebook and we chatted afterwards. We just use very casual, informal English with each other. And that's pretty much how people talk. So Stacy says the microphone looks like a furry animal. Yes. Yeah. And Mode above that says, that being said, some of the rules still apply, like using will for promises. Yes, definitely. You'd always say, I'll be there for you, or even in informal English. Definitely. Yes. If you're promising something, um, like, are you going to clean the kitchen? Yes, I will. I promise I will clean the kitchen today. You could say, I promise I'm going to. But will is definitely more, you're saying that you will do it. Harry 300 says, that mic is the same as my... Well, I'm not... we'll just let that comment sit because I'm not 100% sure of what Harry 300 is saying. So let's get back to the questions, though. Lolly Lolly says, let's see here. Is that your twin brother? No. So interestingly enough, my brother and I look somewhat similar. He is taller than me. He does grow a lot more facial hair than me. Our voices are identical. It's hard for people to distinguish between the two of us. But no, he's not my twin brother. He's actually a few years younger than me. Let me just do something here for a second. I'm going to go here. There, I turned the exposure down on the outdoor camera. It's actually way brighter than it looks, but now at least you can see what's happening out there. Let's see here. Note of Cash says, hi, it was my birthday last week, but hey, I have a question here. Can you give some words about birthdays? Yes, definitely you say happy birthday. I hope you had a good birthday if it was last week. What are you going to do for your birthday? What did you do for your birthday? People expect that you went out to eat or that you had a party. So they'll often say, oh, hey, happy belated birthday. That means like your birthday was a few days ago and I forgot. Happy belated birthday. Did you do anything fun for your birthday? What did you do for your birthday? So there you go. Some phrases to use around the time of a birthday. I don't know. Brent says, whoa, big microphone. You know what they say, big mics, big sound. Yes, something like that. It's called a blimp, by the way. The microphone. It's actually a microphone inside of a case. Let's see here. I always have trouble with this name. Gergo. Gergo? Hi, Bob. We have an English lesson yesterday and we talk about success. And there is one word which I definitely do not understand. A little fix there. Goal. What does it mean? A goal is a point in the future where you have finished something or accomplished something. You might say this, I want to learn 50 new English words this week. That is my goal. My goal is by Friday, I want to know 50 new English words. I might say this, I want to walk 6 kilometers a day, every day for the entire month of February. That is my goal. So at the end of the month, I will have reached my goal. So a goal is a point in the future that you want to get to. Harry 300, let's go skating, guys. I think the lake is frozen. Freddie Wolf says, Bob, how do you protect your cars which are parked outside under so low temperatures, like minus 25, because the gas can freeze? So that's a good question. In Canada, they switch to winter gas at the gas station in October, November. The gas has a small additive so that it can handle cold weather. Our vehicles are designed to start up to minus 25, minus 30. Sometimes it's slow. Are you ready for a sound effect? Here's me starting my van in the summer. Vroom, 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 vroom. Here's me starting my van if it's minus 20. So some people do plug their vehicles in at night and they have a small heater built into the engine. I do that with my tractors, but I don't do that with my cars. So yes, there's winter gas. When you go to the gas station right now, the gas you are buying is winter gas. It has something, it's a mystery to me, but it has something in it for the winter. No, that says, hello, Mr. Bob. Hope you're fine. How's your business class going? It's going good. Hope your students have fun. So far, so good. So far, it's a fun class. From Joy, do you read comic books? I do sometimes. I did more when I was younger. When I was a teenager, I really liked X-Men comics, and I would buy not the comic books, but like a compilation every once in a while to read. Robbie Cat in the chat says, what is the temperature now outside? It is I think it's minus 11 now. It's warmed up a degree. Minus 11 degrees Celsius right now outside. From Daniel, from Markham. Oh, I'll wave to you. You're 2 hours that way, or an hour and a half, but Markham's to the northeast of me. No, northwest. Northeast, actually. Actually, it's almost straight north. Probably straight north. Anyways, Daniel, hi teacher, Bob. Do you play any sports? No. I sometimes will play sports in the gym at school a little bit, rarely. Like if there's floor hockey, that's like indoor hockey with hockey sticks and a ball. But generally, I just walk for exercise. I walk, and I have been going to the gym a little bit lately to walk. Pony, I'm going to skip the subconscious, unconscious question that you submitted. We did that earlier already. Nora K says, hello, Bob. Can you recommend me any English mentor website or institution for business? I don't know a lot about that, whether there's online business courses you could take. I'm going to kind of decline to answer the question because I do not have a good answer. Hopefully you can find something. Mode, who's firing up their van? So realistic sound effects. Yeah, that is my realistic sound effects for the day. Freddie from overseas. Hi Bob, pas de question pour le moment. I just want to try to send you a bit of sun with a higher temperature. When I see the landscape outside, I'm kind of frozen. Yeah, in my short video yesterday, I made a snow angel. I laid on the ground. The video is actually from a few years ago. I just edited it, but most people in the comments, or some people in the comments, were concerned that I would get too cold. But when you wear the right clothes, and when you live in Canada or in a place where there's winter, you do get used to it. It's not as cold for me as it would be for you if you are from a warmer country. Let's see here. Mike says, hi Bob, could you define these? A dam, a paddling pool, and jumping Jehoshaphat. Well, I haven't heard jumping Jehoshaphat for a long time. I think it's kind of a weird, like, pretend swear word. I have not heard it, but it's familiar to me, but it seems kind of like older, maybe from the 80s. But a dam is something that holds back water. So when they have a river flowing and they build a dam, then it holds back the water. And we don't say paddling pool. We usually say kiddie pool, which is a pool for kids, or wading pool, which is a pool that's not very deep for children. Paddling pool might be a British term, but in this part of Canada, we would say kiddie pool or wading pool. Sandra, hello. Do you know something about Latvia? Have a nice evening. I know where it is. I know a little bit about it. And when people ask these questions, I always say, I will read the Wikipedia entry for Latvia after the lesson is over. So I promise that I will do that. From Lato, so let me phrase this how I think you are asking it. Will you create a Zoom meeting for an English lesson, or will you someday have Zoom meetings for English lessons? At this point in time, no. Okay, I don't, even though I have a bit more time, I don't have enough time to start an online English language school with Zoom classes and those kinds of things. Maybe someday in the future, maybe in a few years, I'll explore that. But right now, no. Let's see here. From Vlad, we've answered this. Hi, Teacher Bob. Are you a cat person or a dog person? Sorry, I didn't mean to say we've answered this. I'm not annoyed by repeat questions. They're cool. When I was a kid, I was a cat person, but now I'm getting more and more attached to our new dog, Walter. He's very happy and friendly, and he always walks with me when I go outside. It helps that I sometimes bring some treats in my pocket, some dog treats, and I give them to him while I'm walking. So this one I cannot answer in this lesson. Carla says, hi, Uncle Bob. Can you explain the differences between the prepositions at, in, and on? Thanks. No, I have one lesson about using prepositions. I should make a few more. This topic is, I could spend an hour talking about at, in, and on. Okay, so I'll say this. There is water in my glass. I bought this cup at IKEA, and I'm going to put this cup on the table. That's not a complete lesson by any stretch of the imagination, but there are some example sentences for you. Junhu says, "Hi, Bob. It's my first question." Cool. I feel good. I wonder how life is in Canada because my country is much smaller than your country. So, yes, it's interesting in Canada because the country is so big. Sometimes people from other countries think it's easy to drive from one part to another. But if I wanted to go, you can watch the snow blowing off the barn roof there if you look. If I wanted to go to British Columbia, another province, I would need to go on an airplane. If I wanted to visit friends in Halifax, I would take the train or I would fly. I could drive, but it would take a few days to get there. So yes, that's one thing I've noticed. Sometimes I don't remember that if I lived in Europe and I drove for 3 hours, I would probably be in another country most times. So Maxim says, hello, Mr. Bob. It's going to be great. MMA event tonight in the USA. So mixed martial arts, punching, kicking, all that stuff. Ryan Bader versus Fedor Emelianenko. Are you going to watch it? I'm not, but it sounds interesting. I'm not a big fan of MMA, but if I can find a way, I might watch 5 minutes of it tonight on your recommendation. We'll see. Let's see. Aziz says, what is the electricity thing that is attached to the wall and we plug plugs to them and the things that we plug charges and computers to them? So you're probably talking about a UPS, which is an uninterruptible power supply. You might be talking about a surge protector, which does less. A surge protector, if there's a power surge, it disconnects the device. But a UPS or an uninterruptible power supply, if the power goes out, your computer keeps running for 5 minutes and then you can shut it down nicely. So I would say it's called a UPS and it's an uninterruptible power supply. I have one under my computer over there. Let's see if we probably can't see it. Like down there on the floor, there is one, but I don't think you guys can see it. It's a little bit hard to see in the dark over there. Let's see. So the man says, is it possible to do a lesson about sex in order to learn basic terms, not just for fun, but for educational purposes? I have avoided doing lessons about sex or politics or religion or controversial topics, or I just try to stay out of the types of lessons that people might get annoyed with. So I agree, it would be good to do a lesson like that at some point, but I haven't thought of a way to do it so that I don't offend people, I guess, because it's a sensitive topic, we would say, talking about that. Let's see here. Jen is struggling to walk in the wind. I wonder if she knows she's on camera right now. She probably doesn't. It's probably unfair for me to have her on camera. You can see that the dogs, though, are play fighting. You can see that Jen is wearing her nice winter boots and her really super warm winter hat. And she's going to walk off frame. She's done doing the chores in the barn. Okay, Layson, I'm from Morocco. I love you so much, Bob. Can you send me a work contract? I would love to work with you. And I have a master's in accounting, controller, and auditing. Well, I don't need to hire anyone right now. And I appreciate the sentiment that you would love working for me. But I'm going to have to politely decline the offer. But thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Ario is here. Hi, Ario. Hello, I'm late. Hee hee. Question, how do you celebrate your birthday? Usually we go out to eat. This is great because we had a birthday question earlier, but usually we go out to eat. Usually it's just myself, Jen, and the kids. We usually will go to a restaurant, we'll go out, we'll enjoy some food and each other's company, and we'll just laugh and talk about how old I am. That's what we do. Let's see here. Oh, you guys probably want to see the dogs. So they definitely really like hanging out with Jen. You'll notice that even though they're play fighting, they're never very far from Jen when she is outside. And notice that Jen is wearing many, many layers in order to stay warm. She's probably quite warm outside right now. It's not bad being outside in the cold if you have the right clothing. Okay, Tia. Do you read graphic novels? I don't. The photo from your brother at a rally seems the astronaut from 2002, A Space Odyssey. Yes, he's wearing his helmet and he has a microphone so he can talk to the driver while they're driving. So lots of fun. Ellie says, how to improve English and also English writing because I want to be a good writer. Do more of it and get feedback. Feedback is when someone tells you if you've made mistakes and gives you corrections. If you hire someone from a website like Preply, you can look specifically for a teacher that will help you improve your English writing. They will ask you to write. They will make corrections. You can rewrite what you've written. But definitely do a lot of writing, but also get feedback, get corrections from people, from someone who does that on a website like Preply. You do have to pay for it, but I think it's worth it. Yuri says, hello, sir. As a teacher, do you think in the year 2023, teachers still have to use textbooks to teach their students, or now the internet is more than enough? So I still use textbooks, even though my students have computers, because it's nice to have the textbook open while you use your computer. Until people have, like I have two screens. Oh, you can't see it. I have two screens on my computer there. Can I turn my camera? Probably not. I'm not going to mess anything up. Until everyone has two screens to look at, I think textbooks are still handy. They don't need batteries. They work all the time unless you forget them at home. Sophie, how can I be more fluent in English? Do more of it and be intentional. Make sure you are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Make sure you find someone to help you at least 30 minutes a week. I've said this a lot of times. You can learn a lot of English on your own, but at some point you need a speaking partner. So that's it. And then just schedule the time, put the time in, and you will get there. This is from I Am Perumal. Don't have a question, Uncle Bob, but I learned a lot of things from you, not just English, also life lessons. Love from Tamil Nadu. You are welcome. I'm always happy to help out. Alex says, which hockey team are you a fan of? I'm a fan of the Penguins. So I'm not particularly a fan of anyone. So the history is I used to be a Quebec Nordique fan when there was a team in Quebec City. And then they left. I think they became the Colorado Avalanche. I can't remember. So then I sort of became a Montreal Canadiens fan because if I do watch hockey, which I don't, I like to watch it in French. And Montreal usually has a French broadcast. Close Your Eyes says, what do you think about listening? Is it useful and can I improve my English only by listening? So yes, it's useful. I've kind of rethought what I think about my normal recommendation. I've normally said you need to do an equal amount of reading, writing, listening, and speaking. You need to learn some vocabulary, maybe study some grammar. Now I think this, you should do that. But if you have any extra time in your week, you should fill it with English listening because it's something you can do while you're doing other stuff. Okay, what I mean by that is, yes, you should spend time reading and writing and listening and speaking. You should do those things. But if you're driving somewhere, you should be listening to English. If you're cooking supper, you should be listening to English. If you're going for a walk or a run, you should be listening to English. So do the basics, but then do more listening if you have the time and can fit it in your day. Guess what? That's the end of the show. It's 11:03. I am done. Here's another look outside. for you. The dogs and Jen are gone. They're probably working on something out there somewhere. I'm just going to finish up by saying, I was wondering what this yellow thing was in the corner. It's just my cup. I'm going to finish up by saying this. If you're one of the 500 people watching, don't forget to subscribe. If you missed yesterday's lesson, it's up there and you can watch it. There's also a shorter version coming out tomorrow. If you didn't watch last Tuesday's video, you should go watch it. I think it was fun. It was me giving some tips on how to make your English learning more effective. If you're Dave, thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for taking care of the chat. Good to have you back. What else was I going to say? I think I'm just going to say bye to people. Mode says, okay, I have to go now. So bye, Mode. Mode's off and going. Thanks for the bone-chilling live stream, sending warm vibes your way. Thank you. And I'm just going to say bye to people as they say bye right now. I'm not going to go back. So if you do say bye now, I'll say bye to you. I'm going to listen to myself for a sec to make sure. Just like to check things, even if it's at the end. Okay, here we go. Dave says, no problem. Know that says, bye, Mr. Bob. Have a nice weekend and thanks for the live stream. Greetings to Jen and the kids. Bye to Zen Jun. Stacy says, I often listen to English podcasts when I'm doing some household chores. It is a fun way to improve your listening skills. Definitely. Bye to Arone, Natalia Illusion, Stacy Gion, Judith. Bye, Judith. Bye, Hamuran, Yulia, Dequan, Lolly Lolly, Max, John Wedge, Stacy, Yuri, Wafi, Judith. I'm going to miss people. Marwanto, Yaroslav, Zenjun, Amano, Tutu, Natalia again, Homi, Eugene from Etobicoke. Hey, Eugene. Good to see you. Gabriella, Pony, bye to Pony. Hisu, bye to Lolly, and Global English, and Ram, and Fakar, and Ricardo, and everyone. I'm going to stop now. Bye to everyone. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, have a good week. Have a good relaxing weekend, and I'll see you Tuesday. See you Friday. Should be fun. Bye.